YouTube, what's going on? This is the morning setup with TerrenceRe. So basically, let's get right to it. Got a little. I would say I don't even consider this as a real big up day. If you're bullish, then obviously your accounts are up. In this particular account, I'm down because I am bearish. I have some short positions on. So, but this is basically is the retrace. So, if we're based upon my analysis, my technical analysis, I got like I say, got a breakdown, pull back, and you got a bear flag on the daily. So I'm gonna stay short until either it takes out the highs right here, and then in which case, if it takes out the highs, then I'll assume I'll get back bullish. So either it takes out these highs or it comes back and continues to go down. So that's the initial analysis so far. Going over some of the weekend, some of the headline news. Now coming into this morning, we had some. Let's see. I don't want to do that. We got Goldman Sachs put out some news. Goldman Sachs cuts its forecast for United States economic growth over the weekend, citing a longer lasting virus drag on virus sensitive consumer services and the impact of an extended shortage in global semiconductors. Goldman trimmed its 2021 growth forecast by 10 basis points to 5.6%, while lowering its 2022 estimate by 40 basis points to 4%, adding the consumer spending is likely to be held back by pandemic uncertainty and a softer than expected fiscal response from the Biden administration. So basically, they just giving you some news or giving us some news to justify why um, growth is being, projected as being slower this year and going in, the ending of this year and going into next. So basically, we got a semiconductors. We got so basically the semiconductor ETF is SMH. So we could take a look at that, and then we'll take a look at. So it's. I'm just gonna go to the. So if you're looking at the SMH, right? That's this is the ETF for the semiconductors. So it's in a down move, right? Off of the highs of 276, we down basically just 20 points off of the high, but they don't see it getting any better. And then anything that has, so if we look at the SMH, now let's go look at NVIDIA. Let's see what NVIDIA chart look like. Pretty much look the same, right? If we would go to let's look at Micron. Micron is horrible. This is a horrible chart. Off of the highs of $96 all the way down to $72, but kind of look like it's trading in a channel. And if you don't know what a channel is, kind of basically like you see where it got a low right here, then a high. So I'm gonna draw it out. I'm gonna draw it from this high, from that point. And let's bring it down. Kind of want to touch like some tops, maybe something like that. That's why I said there's kind of see if you're looking at that, and it may even be better to probably take this from here, put it right there at that point, move this to here. So you want to see, we'll see how long that Micron kind of trades in this range from just bouncing back and forth, right? If you want to get bullish, meaning you think the market's gonna go up, you probably want to see it break this Wilder's smoothing moving average. Some people will want to see it break out of this channel here, but let's see what it looks like when it breaks here. You might get something if it takes out this high right here. Get something right here. So you kind of want to see it break out of there, come through here, and then come back and test this range right here. And you probably want to get long here. That's being it if something happens and let's say I don't know some restrictions ease or in China, which is China, some of the Chinese stocks are up today. So if you look at um, let's look at Baba. So if you look at Alibaba, it's up off the lows. Got a nice little move from off the lows. Let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days in a row up. So this is one of those. So so if you see the Chinese stocks begin to move up, then maybe the semiconductors will move up. With a lot of our chips being made overseas, I don't know if what the correlation is. So, but this wouldn't be. And if you guys have been listening to the channel for the past few weeks, you know that I've been long Chinese stocks because I was like they've been beat down so much off the highs. So to get in down here at these lows, let's look at another Chinese stock. So this is actually something that I think that wouldn't be a bad play to get in on. I personally, you say, well, why don't you get in on Baba? I want to see it come back and retest. I like to get in on flags. So meaning it's been up 5 days in a row. For me to jump in right here and then it pull back. I don't want to sit through, through the retracement. I'd rather it come back here on the pullback and then buy as it's coming down. Like I like the short as it's going up. Like I like to step into it, like get in front of the train. So I don't want to get in right here and get long. I want to see it pull back a little bit and then get long. So I'm keeping as far as like now. Let's look at DD. I am in DD. I own this um in another portfolio. So I've been owning. I sat through all of this, but it's a lower price stock. So it's only an $8.46 stock, and I've been talking about it since it was like down here at the lows at 7. So don't miss this move, even if it's something like be able to handle your risk. But if you just throw 100 shares in there, yeah, that's what $846 to jump in here off of the highs. The highs were what, all the way back at $18. So if you just recoup, if it just get up there, I actually think it'll fill the gap at some point, right? So even if it fills the gap, you make about $500 per 100 shares. So that's why I said I like to play in DD. I'll give you another one. Look at JD. Now JD, it's a Chinese stock as well. Um, it just depends on how you look at it. JD had the up move. Ideally, you would have wanted to have gotten in here on the pullback, somewhere in here as it was coming down into this. And remember, my thing is with gaps, they a lot of times they serve as support. When you get gaps, support and resistance, I use those for trade entries. Whether I'm right or wrong, that's where I like to get in. I like to get in where the gap is. Pick, though, to me, that's a great place to get into a position. Whether you're long or short, I don't care where, if you want to get short, it would be the reverse of this. Like, let me show you Apple. Well, actually, this would be an example of getting long again because you got it coming down into here. I drew this out like weeks ago. Let's see if I can find one where you could get short into the gap. I don't know if any off the top of my head. All of these are pretty much long positions. And getting it right here. Okay, you got the SPY, a gap down and pull back. So this is not a bad position. This isn't a bad place. If you want, right here. See, that's not a bad place to get short. This is a great area if you say like, if you believe that like I do that the S&P 500 will continue to go down, you could come in here and get short right here, right? It's not a bad place to get. Let's look at the NASDAQ, the Qs. The Qs pretty much filled their gap right here. It was a gap, it gapped down and it filled it, and now you got a little up move. I may put something on later on in the week in the queues. So stay tuned. Hit the like button and subscribe. So when I do that trade, you'll get a notification. It's free option trade for you. I'll probably do something real cheap, something worth your while for people who are followers of the channel. Facebook. Facebook, this isn't a bad place, to be honest with you, to get long in Facebook because it's been beat down. When you get a stock that's off of the highs, 384, it's like 70 bucks off, $60 off the high down here on the RSI. It's not a bad place to get long. Whether you believe it, put all the news aside. I really don't care about that. Just looking at the stock, it's not a bad place. You get a little pop. I'm talking about like an option trade, or even if you were day trading this, like maybe swing trading, and you got long, you bought 100 shares or so, and you just played it back up into here, try to make a little swing trade over the next, I would say, 2 to 3 weeks. Right now, keep in mind, anything you put on, you got earnings coming up in Facebook on October 25th. We're about to get into earnings season, so that's about 2 weeks from today. So that will affect it. The banks, Mr. JP Morgan. This is kind of like what you would call like a megaphone. Um, if you can't see it, it's already drawn on my screen, but I'll go ahead and highlight it, right? See that? So you got something like that. Now, ideally, let's move this all the way out some. It's gonna right here. I'm expecting it to reach some type of resistance up into this trend line up here. So with JP Morgan, this ain't a bad place to maybe get short. And you say, well, man, it's going up. I'm not. I want to do I'm a contrarian, so I would like to I'll do the opposite of what everyone thinks. Is supposed to happen. Now, keep in mind, you got earnings. We got earnings this week for JP Morgan on Wednesday before the market. So that could make this move jump or go down a whole lot and really, really fast. So I would steer clear away from it until after the earnings. Unless you just want to make an earnings trade, you want to take advantage of that volatility. It's not. It has a low IV rank right now. So ideally, maybe you step in and buy a put spread, something like that, something where the risk is defined. But for the most part today, any scalping or anything like that, you may want to stay the long side. The financials are up, which is the XLF. Energy is up. Generally, don't want to be short if the financials and energy is up. I mean, like on a daily basis, right? And I do want to take a look at the Southwest Airlines chart just because of the news. And if you haven't heard, Southwest Airlines canceled. This was as of this morning before market opening. So I don't today it could have you could have had more cancellations, but canceled 808 flights yesterday and has canceled another 1,006 today. I'm reading from an email that I received on market news from TheoTrade. So the company blamed the disruption on air traffic control issues and weather, although other major airlines are not delaying or canceling flights at an elevated rate. There was speculation that some Southwest employees have called in sick in a form of protest over the mandatory vaccination rules in place, which has been unconfirmed. So it has been. I've been on Twitter, and so I've seen some tweets where people were saying that that's true. Then I seen some where they're saying that maybe that isn't true. I was watching the game last night, Kansas City and Buffalo, and they did have a delay at halftime because of weather. So I don't know. It could have been like it could have been something of both, right? Excuse me. It could have been like you had bad weather and you had to have some cancellations on top of this was going on. And so maybe like they're doing like a little bit of media control and saying that all of them were because of that. Who knows? I imagine because you would think that if this was going on, then other airlines would have the same. It would be all airlines canceling flights and stuff, and so it's not to the same effect. So that's why people are skeptical in the healthcare industry. Now, this before I move on, just looking at this chart now that it did gap down, so it did gap down. It was at the open it was down a couple bucks when it gapped down, and then it has retraced since. So basically on the day it's only down 96 cents. So pretty much no harm, no foul right now. If let's go here. If I'm looking at this and I'm trying to figure out what's the plan of attack, if I wanted to trade this, like how would I don't know. I don't think I don't have any. Just looking at this, I don't know. Like I don't have any bias either way. I don't see anything that gives me. I don't have any type of pattern or no type of candlestick pattern or anything like that. So no trade for me. I don't have anything. You know that it has earnings on October 21st. So this is one I don't really have. The news didn't make a big move in the stock, so I could see it. It could go either way. So I don't really. I say no trade on this. Nothing to do. Nothing to see here. AstraZeneca phase 3 trial met its primary endpoint. Trial showed a reduced risk of death and severe COVID-19 by reduced risk of death and severe COVID-19 by 67% in a trial where 90% of participants were from high risk categories. Only long acting antibody combination that can both prevent and treat COVID-19. Let's take a look at the stock and see if any of that news affected the stock. So it looked like it's, man, you got a green candle. It's up 61 cents. And I'm looking at it right here. So it's up 61 cents on the day. Now, I could see, now this is one of those where if you're looking at it, it could go higher, right? So here's the high, and it looked like it's going to take out that high. So this might not be a bad one. It's looked like it's breaking out. So if you want to get long it, not a bad trade. Not a bad trade at all. Not a bad, jump on it for some shares for a quick trade. I wouldn't stay in it no more than a week. Set a you can get long. Put your stop right here below this low. That's what I would do. So you risking about what, $2, and I would go for maybe a buck. I would risk two. I would risk two to make one, so I don't have to go as far to get profitable. That's what I would do on this particular trade because you're already up, right? I wouldn't go risk one to make one unless I'm like down here getting it at the bottom or something like that. You'd be buying at the top of a breakout. Let's take a look at Merck. Merck has some news. Merck submitted an emergency use authorization application to the U.S. FDA for molnupiravir, an investigational oral antiviral medicine for the treatment of mild to moderate COVID-19 who are at risk for progressive to severe COVID-19 and or hospitalization. So they have something like from what I understand, I think it's like a pill that you can take, and it's supposed to help treat COVID-19 according to what I'm reading, right? Um, so based on that news, though, the stock, you can see now. I imagine I'm looking at it about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bars. Was 7 days ago. I think this is when they first announced that news. That's where this big gap up is now, which means this could continue. This could run, right? It's an $80 stock. There's no telling where this stock can go to. I'm just being honest. It can come down into here, right here, and you can buy it off of this little trend line right here. I like to find like entry points so you could get long. Why you do that? You could get long off of the maybe play it off this bounce right here, if it ever makes it. Like right here off this line from here somewhere, or maybe off this moving average, or you can get long right here and just I don't know, you may have your stop down here at the fill of the gap. That's a $4 stop, but it can definitely run and take out these highs. So that would be a 1-to-1 trade. That would be something where you got earnings on October 28th. I don't know how long. Let me see. I might do it just to do it. Let's see what I want to do, because if they get this, if they let this go through, right, and the FDA approves this, the stock's gonna pop. So this is one of those ones. Hold on, I wanna look at something real quick, guys, and then I may put a trade on right now. So let's see. We might do a live trade, and we'll just do. I want to see if it prices right. So what it would look like. These are 2.5 wide spreads. So that means that I would be paying 120 for this spread if I got filled. If I got filled, that the mid price would be somewhere around 121, 122. And it would give me 39 days. The only thing about this is I don't know how long it's gonna chop. I don't know how long it's gonna chop, or if it's just gonna go ahead and pop. What's the expected move? Now the expected move is like $5.91. Basically a $6 expected move. I want to see it come down some more. If I can get it to come down some more, and if you look over here at open interest, you can see you got a lot of open interest over here, and volume is you got 1,000. Someone bought 1,000 calls right here. These are calls that were bought. These weren't sold. No one's selling calls 39 days at 82 at the at the 40 strike. No, that means that they would be getting short right here. I don't know. I doubt it. If someone was gonna say I wouldn't, ain't nobody stepping in front of this shortness with calls after that news, after that big move. I just don't. I don't know for sure, but I don't think so. Right? Let me see if I can do some fib, some projecting out. So you may get another move. Like I really do think we're gonna get another move in this. Matter of fact, I'm almost 100% certain. Just timing. The thing about options, when you buy them, you're on the clock. So it almost would be better for this to come down a little bit more, and then you sell a put or sell a put spread somewhere down in here on the up move. So I will put this on the. I'll probably add this to my watch list, and I'll put it down here at the bottom, just so I can keep an eye on it. I also want to keep an eye on Baba. So I want to see a pullback here, and then I'm gonna be watching Merck. So what you guys can do is, like I said, hit the like button, subscribe, and then when I put this trade on, I'll go over it in a video or something, so you guys will know, like, hey, you'll get a chance to see me put the trade on. Let's see, is there anything else I want to go over? I just wanted to come on, and I'm gonna start doing this on a regular basis, and then that way, kind of go over the headlines for the day, um, stuff like that. Let me see. I got some more news down here on tech. So Apple asked a federal appeals court on Friday to throw out a legal decision that will require the tech giant to tweak its strict App Store rules and force it to allow app developers to inform customers of ways to pay for subscriptions and services outside the App Store. So I think I went over that a few weeks back on Apple. Um, Pretty much, we'll see what that court, what the appeals court says, because it'll probably jump on news. That'll jump on news too. But you're in a retracement. You got the MACD is below the zero line. These two lines right here, both are below the zero line. And you can see it starting to accelerate a little bit up, but it's just in a retracement to me. This was your initial move based upon my analysis. This is your initial move. This was your divergence, and this was your down leg. So you got a little pullback. I don't see this manifesting into anything, into new highs. Me personally, I think it'll come up in here somewhere, and then you're gonna see it finish this down move. You'll get that next down move over here somewhere, right? So I would want to gear up for that. Instead of getting long here, kind of be patient. Look for a reversal candle up in here, maybe something like a doji, this would be a doji, or you would look for something like you would look for something with a, maybe like this, with a long wick. You get something like that, and then look, or a big red candle, and look to get short and resume the down move. So once again, for the day, if you're doing some intraday trading, try to buy. I would say try to buy pullbacks just on an intraday basis. That means like scalping. The financials are up, energy is up, right? Bitcoin is up. Bitcoin is up 5% today. So you pretty much, and then Bitcoin is breaking out. This is a breakout candle. That right there, that's a breakout candle. So with Bitcoin breaking out, now you got a gap. So I need to take these green lines off. Let's see. I'm gonna take these green lines off, and then we're gonna go. Where's my? I don't want to show. I want to get these green lines off so I can make it just so I can sort of look better. I'm trying to get the screen blank. I know I got it on here. It's one of these. Let's see. Give me a second, because I want to talk about. I'm gonna have you guys set up right. Here we go. Do a little right here. See this gap right here? It gapped down. It came back into it. Now that's an example of getting short in a gap. So the market closed up here, right? And then gap down to here. There you go. I'm gonna tighten it up. Right there. So here we go. That's your gap. That's your gap down from April 16th, April 19th. That was a weekend. Opened up here, continued down. It pulled back. This is an example of getting short. So it pulled back into the resistance. The gap became resistance, and getting short right here. Look at these wicks. The wicks, like where the market went up, came back down. Up, came back down. So this acted as resistance, and then you got short again, right? Pull back up into here. Now you're right back at that level. So Bitcoin is either going to bust through this, and I mean, when I say bust through it, it'll come up into here somewhere, and it may chop a little bit and then take off, or you're going to get some resistance right here, and you'll get a little pullback into this area, right? So that's an example of trade. This is a great place, in my opinion, to either way. Like, you never know what the market's going to do, but I try to find like great places to enter the market. And to me, like, places of either retesting the gap, or just coming into it at, this is a great place to either way, right? Because you may get a little resistance and it come back into here, and then you can get long, or you just get short right here. Get short. If you get short, it's a maybe a week trade or so. Maybe not even that with Bitcoin. It could be a couple of days, because you could get a little red candle and it come down a little bit, and then you get out and then buy it back the other way. Bitcoin is a great vehicle, in my opinion, just to day trade. And I'm looking at Bitcoin as a whole. So if I was to imagine, if I was to log into another platform or something like TradingView and pull up the other coins, they may have some similar setup where you can work around and trade some of the other ones too, whether it be Cardano or Ethereum. But I just stick to monitoring Bitcoin, the main one. And then if it moves, I'm looking for the other ones to move similarly. It's not a perfect correlation, but that's pretty much how I trade it. So with that, I think I covered everything. Once again, on my list, on the watch list, is Merck and Baba for some option trades, for some spread looks. So you guys can be expecting that. I want to see Merck come down a little bit more. I want to see Merck come down into here somewhere. If I can get Merck to come down a little bit more, or if I drop down and I look at it, I probably watch it on a smaller time frame, right? And maybe I get some type of candle formation. See, looking at this on like the 30-minute or something, you can see that it's kind of like just in like a little zone, right? So I want to see something, some type of I want to see a bullish candlestick, see a pattern on a smaller time frame, and then I may try to get long with a spread, right? Baba, same thing. I don't want to get long after all of this. I want to see a pullback, and then I may try to get long off of the pullback. All right. With anything, know your risk, be comfortable with your risk, and then be safe out there and happy trading. Peace.